First shave of 2022. We say goodbye to 2021, starting off a new year. I don't know about you guys. 2021, it had its ups and downs, but I had a good year overall. I really did. 2021 was good to me. I share a lot of my personal stuff during my shaves, so you guys know everything that pretty much happened to me. And yeah, looking forward to the new year. Looking forward to some good shaves. I got a great one for today. I kind of mentioned this or previewed this shave in part last year. It was back in 2021, kind of the fall, that I picked up some Phoenix Artisan Accoutrements soaps. The Beach, which a video I did fairly recently, but the other scent that I picked up in that last order was Coconut Bay Rum. Man, this stuff is awesome. It's right up there with the Beach as far as how much I enjoy the scent. It's a very soft soap, but it smells delicious. Yeah, I said delicious. I wanted to say something like wonderful or something, but it smells delicious. Very sweet smelling. It's got that rum scent, but then it also is coconutty, very tropical, and tropical is what I need right now. Extremely cold here in Wisconsin. It's early January, and temperatures are below zero during the overnight hours, as much as like 10, 12 degrees below zero Fahrenheit, and only around zero or slightly above for our daytime highs. Daytime highs in the single digits. Tons of snow, which is great. My wife and daughter really enjoy getting out and doing some sledding in our yard. We've got a big steep hill in our yard. It's the same yard that I, biffed it on the slip and slide and dislocated my shoulder. Same hill. And they enjoy sledding down it. I'm not allowed to go out in the snow because I'll probably fall. But yeah, it's been chilly, so a nice tropical kind of warm weather scent really gets me hyped up for some warmer weather soon to come. Interesting razor for today. So I bought this a long time ago, like almost a year ago, and I have not used it until like a week ago. I finally used it. This is the second time that I've used it. Now it's a Franken Razor. The handle is actually, I stole it off of another cheap razor that I have, but look at the head. This is that Yaqi Slant. I got this for $3 or something. It's Yaqi AliExpress has these crazy cheap deals, but shipping is always like a month or 2 months or whatever. But it's the Yaqi Slant, and I've got a blade. I've got an Astra blade. Can you see it? You probably can't see it. It's basically straight across. Like, there's not really any curve to it. Blade exposure is insane. I would put this up there basically with using a shavette. It's almost just a straight blade. Like I said, I've used it one time and didn't nick myself or cut myself, but it was kind of scary using that blade. And I'm gonna do it again for this shave. But yeah, it's a beast. It is hands down, I think, the most aggressive or efficient razor that I own. So that's the razor. As far as the brush that I'm using this Omega Mixed Badger and Boar. It's a teeny tiny little brush. It's a great little brush, actually. I enjoy using it quite a bit. And I'm going to be using my Phoenix Artisan Accoutrements Travel Scuttle, which is great. It's much smaller than my Timeless bowls as far as like the actual volume and the mixing area, if you will. But this little brush fits in there perfectly, and you'll see that when I do the lather here in a second. That's about it. The aftershave, it's the matching Coconut Bay with lime. Did I mention it has lime in it too? I really only get the lime when I put on the aftershave. But yeah, that's the matching aftershave. PAA has some incredible aftershaves. They're like the best aftershaves. They feel so good. And no menthol in this aftershave. But yeah, that's everything there. Let's drop down and let's go to the lather. Do you like my gnome towel? Can you see it there? I got some gnomes, some Christmas gnomes. I know Christmas was a few days ago, but we still like to celebrate the holiday a few days into the new year. I once did a Zoom call with a lady, and she had her Christmas tree up in like April. That's definitely too late. But you can do Christmas stuff, for a couple of days after Christmas, a couple of weeks even. So here you can see I'm using the Scuttle. I've got some of the soap pressed down in there. I'm not putting any water in yet. There's water in the brush, and I'll add more water. Yep, see, it already needs some water. It's pretty dry. Let me put a splash in there. Family is just outside the door making a lot of racket. Hopefully that's not too much of a distraction. There we go. So yeah, the smaller brush just works better with the smaller size of the Scuttle. The soap tends to kind of ride up on the sides. So you gotta press it back down. Like that. I just find you have to be a bit more like gentle with it. With building your lather versus my timeless bowl, you just go at it. You just beat it like a rented mule. But it works. Look, it's working great. Look at that. So you just have to, like I said, a smaller brush works a little better. There you go. I like that. That was quick. It's such a soft soap. It comes together very quickly. So there we go. Let's go back up. All right, welcome back. I have already done my pre-shave. I used an unscented glycerin bar, just washed off my face, so I shouldn't have any issues with the lather going on my face. Yeah, New Year. Hope everybody had a wonderful Christmas. Hope everybody has a wonderful 2022. It was tough for so many people. I mean, I know everyone thought 2021 was going to be like so much better than 2020, and for many people it wasn't any better, or it was worse even. But hopefully 2022 is better for everybody. My family actually recently, we just got over a bout of COVID. Started with my kids. They were showing some symptoms. They just basically had a cough, which my kids always pretty much have a cough. Runny nose, a little bit of a fever, not a very high fever, but they had a fever. And then a couple days later, we were just treating it with Tylenol. A couple days later, my wife, our youngest daughter, who is still in diapers, she pooped. And I said, P.U., somebody pooped. And then my wife goes, really? And I go, yeah, you can't smell it? And she goes, no. And I was like, oh shit, do you have COVID? And then she ran and grabbed a candle from the kitchen, and she put her nose like right in the candle, and she goes, I can't smell this. And I was like, oh my God. So the next day, the two of them went and got tested. They both came back positive. Our oldest daughter, we got her because she was coughing and whatnot as well. And my wife tested, both of them positive. I went and got tested, and I was negative. We did not get our youngest daughter tested just because we figured everybody probably had it. A couple days later, I got a little bit of a fever and a little bit of a kind of scratchy throat, and I kind of thought maybe my scent was off just a tad, but it wasn't bad. And then within like a day or two, I was fine. Had a little bit of a headache. So a very minor symptom. Fortunately, my wife, her scent is coming back. And this was like 2 weeks ago, so we're all in the clear now. But yeah, a little scary there. My two youngest daughters are too young to get vaccinated, so obviously I was a little worried about them. But we march forward. Okay, here's the scary razor. So far, so good. I think I just took out like part of my sideburn there. It's so sharp. I do have a couple days growth. I don't know if I mentioned that. So there's definitely something to shave off there. You can hear it. It's actually doing great. This shave is going better than my other shave the other day with this razor. I'm using an Astra first use. The other time I used a Treat Platinum, like third use. Basically what you're relying on in this situation is the slickness of the soap. This would be not a time to have that like kind of jumpy, bouncy, you know, a lot of water and a slick soap. That's what you want. And a light hand. Ooh, movies. I still haven't been to the movies, but I watched a movie. The French Dispatch. It's a Wes Anderson movie. Are you familiar at all with their movies? His movies? He did The Royal Tenenbaums, Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou, The Grand Budapest Hotel, a movie called Bottle Rocket years ago. Kind of quirky movies. Bill Murray is in a lot of them. If you're a fan of Wes Anderson, check out The Grand Budapest. No, that was his last movie. Check out The French Dispatch. It's an ensemble cast that has tons and tons of actors, including Bill Murray. Years ago, I was asked once if I could be next door neighbors with any celebrity in the whole world, who would it be? And my choice was Bill Murray. I bet he's a really funny dude. I'm sure, like, he would just pop in with random weird things or random weird stories and stuff. He would be my celebrity neighbor of choice. Okay, first pass down. Didn't slice myself. Whew. Got some Whisker sludge on my shirt. The warm lather on my face feels nice. From the Scuttle. Again, I don't use the Scuttle a whole lot. I use the Timeless Bowl more. I do think it's a little bit better. If the Scuttle was bigger, I would use it every time. If the bottom of the Scuttle was bigger. It's kind of cone shape. I don't know how, you can't really see it. Can you see it? It's cone shape, which is fine. It kind of has to be, I mean, to have that double layer of water. But yeah. What else is new? Yeah, watched The French Dispatch. There's a show that my wife and I started watching a couple years ago on HBO. It is called The Righteous Gemstone. It has Danny McBride and John Goodman is in it, and a bunch of other really funny people. I don't know their names particularly, but kind of makes fun of like a family that has one of those like southern mega churches. So it's also, and the reason I bring it up is it's returning. Season 2 returns here in the next couple of weeks. Excited about that. You've probably heard me say before, my wife and I kind of got into some British shows because they're usually just a little bit more chill and a little bit more Not as zany and whatnot as American shows. And there's a show that we really like called All Creatures Great and Small, based off of a book. And that's coming back in a couple of weeks too, so some exciting television to watch. You gotta watch some television when you're dealing with the cold and the snow here. Speaking of snow, we got like a foot of snow a couple of weeks ago. And up until this last year that my wife and I bought this house, we rented. With most rentals, snow removal is included. So if you get a foot of snow, somebody comes by and clears your driveway and the path leading up to your house. Well, now that we own a house, that's not the case. So you basically need a snow blower, because if you try to shovel your driveway with a foot of snow, it's going to take forever. It's going to wear you out. So my dad, being the southerner that he is, bought me a snowblower a few months ago. It's electric. And because I'm a big fan of Teslas, there's even a shave video that I talk about riding in a Tesla and how impressed I am with the Teslas. He thought maybe Drew wants to be very environmentally friendly and get an electric snowblower. And I appreciate the gesture, Dad, but it doesn't cut the mustard. You gotta have a big honkin' gas snowblower to handle Wisconsin snow. It works fine. If we only get like 3 inches. But honestly, if we only get 3 inches, most people just shovel that. It's when you get 8, 10, 15 inches of snow that you're going to want that snowblower. So it sort of worked, but the battery dies very quickly, way before the job is done. And it's just a little too much for the little electric snowblower to handle. I call it Sparky. So anyways, my neighbor came and cleared out the majority of my driveway, which was very nice. But I'm going to have to step it up and get a big boy gas snowblower. I know there's a lot of Canadian wet shavers, some of which I follow, they follow me. We talk a lot about the harsh winters, and they're gonna be like, "Oh yeah, you gotta have a big kick-ass snowblower." So I'm basically gonna give my electric one to my buddy that lives in Illinois, because they don't get quite as much snow. He lives in kind of central South Illinois, and then I'm next year gonna get a big one. I think the key, the reason I'm having a good shave so far, no nicks or anything, is this brand new Astra blade. I think it's very sharp, and I'm applying little or no pressure. I think with that other, with that treat blade that I used, it was like the 3rd use, and I don't think it was sharp enough. I do consider myself a fan of slants. I almost would say this isn't a slant, because I mean you can kind of see it's the blade is just almost straight. Okay. should do it. Do I want to get these spots here? Yeah, might as well. Here's where I'll cut myself. Wash off my face. The hardest part, I mentioned COVID, the hardest part has been 2 weeks at home with my family. Don't get me wrong, I love my family. Cabin fever much? We took advantage of these stores that do curbside delivery. And we also have a really good friend who, would bring us groceries and just leave them on our porch. So we're very fortunate for that. Okay, 2 shaves with this crazy, scary looking razor and no nicks, no cuts. This was definitely the smoother of the two. But, yeah. The Mula R47 has nothing on that. That was scary. Okay. Got the aftershave, matching aftershave. Give a little shake here. I sometimes get a tiny bit of burn from PAA aftershave, but not much. And I can smell that lime. Like I said, the lime comes out more in the aftershave. But a very smooth feel. You get almost like I get like a powdery almost feel on my face after this aftershave dries a little bit. It feels great. Yeah, and there's the lime, which actually kind of fades within like 15 minutes, 20 minutes. And then you basically just kind of smell a sweet coconut rum. Good stuff. Yeah. Scary razor, but I survived. Tropical scent, even though it's the dead of winter here in Wisconsin. Happy 2022, everybody. I wish you the best, and I'll see you real soon.